a complete evisceration of the Denver Broncos. A 50-burger put up on supposedly the best defense in the NFL. That's what they said coming in. Brendan Albert is here. I'm Adrian Fenke. We're going to get into some of those plays that led to 51 points on Sunday against the Broncos. Let's get into it right now. Brendan, let's go, baby.
Man, putting up a 50 burger on a team that has 3 all-pros, 2 corners, and then, of course, Von Miller. That's nothing but impressive. It's looking really good moving forward for the Birds, just kind of continuing to improve one game at a time. All that Coach Reddick, you hear all the time, but that's damn impressive. It's awesome to get that confidence and keep moving up.
I was so impressed by Doug Peterson on Sunday. I couldn't believe it. I haven't always said the best things about him, but there's a lot of people that don't like Doug Peterson too. But man, he kind of surprised me. What do you think about what he's been doing?
I mean, Adrian, we talked about this off air. You didn't see as much vertical drop back passing to give Carson the opportunity to get sacked by 2 really good pass rushers there. They're running the ball. They're running the ball really well. Game calling is really efficient. I mean, you got to give the man credit. I mean, I don't think he's necessarily going to be the coach of the year, but he's certainly a candidate for what's going on there in Philly.
Yeah, the reason why I was impressed, I mean, you have Big V starting at left tackle, and the first 23 pass attempts, I thought it was orchestrated perfectly. So a lot of rollouts to the right, a lot of quick drops. 17 of the first 23 were, quick drops or rollouts, and only 3 of those at the end of the half were deep drops, and that's when the Eagles were trying to score. So a lot of this quick, short stuff, getting Big V in the game early. And I love how they started running to his side too later on the first half. So they built his confidence early. He got into the game. And then, he played pretty well.
Without a question. And you know what? At halftime, when you already put 30 points up on the board, now you can go into second half saying, hey, look, we're going to run a lot of quick game stuff. We're going to run the ball heavy. And now we don't have to worry about Carson having to take a 5-step drop and throw the ball down the field because we need to score points. So it was just a really, really well-executed plan from the game staff, but more important, the players just flat-out dominated. Everyone across the board had a really, really damn good game there.
Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to have a lot of weapons, and that's why I wasn't giving him all the credit in the world. I was like, well, when you have Carson Wentz, when you have all those weapons, okay, whatever. But to have Big V out and to see what he did, that's why I was impressed. I tend to judge coaches and the play calling. When a player is out, when a key guy is out, how can you combat with that absence? And I just thought he called a pretty magnificent game. I can't believe the words are coming out of my mouth, but they are.
I can't disagree with you. I mean, he called a really good game, but, in the end of the day, Tyson has a great quote. Everyone has a game plan when they come into a match or a game until they get punched in the mouth, and then it all goes out the window. And flat out, the Eagles punched him in the mouth across the board. Everyone executed, and the game plan said, man, we don't even need a game plan now. We're just going to flat out dominate, and that's exactly what the Birds did.
Yes, they did. And the first play we're going to get into, it's funny that we're giving Doug all this credit, and on Sunday, we're all giving him credit about using Jay Ajayi as a decoy on their opening drive. Well, as it turns out, this 32-yard touchdown was a run-pass option. It wasn't using Ajayi as a decoy. It was an option of giving him the ball or rolling and throwing the ball to Jeffrey. So we'll get into this play right now. And before we get into it, I want to ask you, is this play relevant in the NFL right now? Who else is kind of running it? The first time I saw it was a couple years ago when Seattle opened against Green Bay, right after they won the Super Bowl. I saw this play for the first time. This is a play that's run in college a lot. Auburn runs this stuff a lot, the RPO. But I'm seeing it more and more in the NFL. I thought it would kind of revolutionize the NFL a little bit more than it actually did. But, yeah, get into that a little bit.
Yeah, RPO stands for run pass option. Is something we saw a ton. You look at spread teams who run this, like Oregon back in the Chip Kelly days. Auburn's a great example, Adrian too. These plays are designed to give your quarterbacks very simple reads. Teams that do this a ton, Alex Smith and Kansas City Chiefs have been doing this a lot. Russell Wilson does this a lot. Cam does it a little bit, but a lot of the zone read stuff is to get Cam more on the move than to give him the opportunity to throw.
Okay. So we're going to get into it right here. This is our first play of the film study. This RPO, run pass option and a touchdown to Alshon Jeffrey.
Now
So
you're going to run this, and Adrian, pause this when we get to the 11-second mark, right? We get to the mesh. You're going to run this RPO stuff a ton, guys, when you play against teams who have really elite level pass rushers. So, example, elite level pass rusher here is going to, of course, be Von Miller. So we're going to see this probably is when you play against a team like Khalil Mack with the Oakland Raiders. You might even see this when you go against an Aaron Donald. So this is something that's forecasting we can see down the line. Now, when we look at these RPO plays, the way the quarterback is going to be taught to read it is he's going to read the chest of that defender, okay? Adrian's a perfect spot to pause it. If the quarterback reads the chest of the defender, meaning the chest is flat and quarterback can read the numbers right on his chest, he's taught to hand the ball off and allow the running back to take it. Now, that's basic option. When you add in third level RPO option, this is where we have Alshon Jeffrey at the bottom of the screen. So now Carson really has 3 reads he can make. The first read he can make, if he wants, he can hand the ball off in this situation because he can read the chest of Von Miller. He knows Von Miller is not going to be able to chase the play down. Perfect. That's option number 1. Option number 2, if Carson reads the side number on the shoulder pad here of the defender, that means the defender is chasing down the running back. Carson can take the ball and run. That's a very true option type of look. The third option we have here is if Carson gets either look, either flat chest from the defender or shoulder from the defender, it doesn't matter. Carson can now throw the ball over the top to Alshon if he's open. So it's really a 3-step read or a 3-process read here. And when you're doing this, quarterbacks can't be wrong because if you're wrong, this defensive end by play design is unblocked. And if you're wrong, he's going to smoke you right in the mouth. So there is no room for error when you do things like this. But you would do stuff like this when you think, hey, you know what? We might not be able to handle this defensive end every single time or outside linebacker every single time. You're going to call plays like this because eventually what it's going to do, it's going to get in that head of that linebacker that if he's unblocked, he slowly slows down and he stops to think. That extra second of thinking gives the offense the advantage.
And some things that happened during a game on Sunday, they literally left Miller unblocked for a couple of plays. And every single time they did it, it worked. And this is one of those occurrences. And as you can see right here, 21, is that Talib or is that Harris? I think it's Talib.
It's going to be Talib here.
Yeah, so you can see his eyes are in the backfield.
And that's a big no-no, too. That's a big no-no.
Yeah, and so Jeffrey's just going to dart right past him when he sees that.
Mm-hmm.
So,
yep. So again, you see here Carson, he reads, okay, I know I cannot fully take off and run with it because Vaughn's flat out here. So Vaughn gets in the chase position, and then Carson just is the only option he has, put the ball over the top, and it's just perfect ball placement. Yep. You know, as you pointed out, Adrian Talib's eyes shouldn't have been in the backfield, but it's perfect ball placement here by Carson, and now we're playing the fight song.
There it is. The new fight song, DMX.
Love it.
The new end zone song. All right, so we'll kind of go full speed as we look behind the line of scrimmage. So we'll see the play out in full.
Yep, and you'll see it. Read, okay, now I got to throw it. Because if Vaughn's coming free, you got to get rid of the ball. You're not gonna be able to make a lot of guys miss unless you're Michael Vick, Russell Wilson, those type of elite athletes. Carson's very, very good, but he's not at that caliber. So he's a better quarterback to beat you with his mind than he is to beat you with his legs.
Yep. All right. Next play we're getting into, Corey Clement, the 15-yard screen for a touchdown. By the way, you'll see on this play, Brandon Brooks just absolutely mauls. So this is late in the first quarter. Corey Clement, the first of his 3 touchdowns of the afternoon. Impressive day for the undrafted rookie out of Wisconsin. I'll tell you what, it makes me feel better, a lot better, when I think that the Eagles used a 4th-round pick on him instead of Donnell Pumphrey. That's
a great way to look at it here. So Corey Clement did a really nice job, and this is going to be a screenplay. Now let's talk about something we need to understand here, guys, in game planning. That RPO zone read, first quarter. This screenplay, first quarter. So as you're noticing, what the Eagles were trying to do early was give Von Miller looks where he's unblocked or has to redirect, make him think he sees, oh, I'm unblocked. This is a sack. Nope, it's a screenplay. Oh, I'm unblocked. This is a sack. Nope, it's an RPO. They're doing this stuff in the first quarter to build the confidence in Carson later and also build the concern in Von Miller later. So as you're going to see here, guys, this is going to be called a slip screen. So on slip screens, what you're going to have is you're going to have the back going to be responsible for the last man or the most dangerous man in the line of scrimmage coming off the edge. In this case, it's going to be Von Miller here. So what you're going to see Clement do is he's going to kind of do a quick drop step. If you guys are familiar with basketball, quick drop step, pivot around. Carson's just going to give it a little dart. And then Adrian, as you talked about it, Brooks and other big boys up front are going to be on train tracks, just destroying everything in front of them. Yep.
So we'll play it right now, a little slow-mo. Yeah, so he gets a great little chip on Miller here to start.
Mm-hmm. And it just has to be like a smidget of a block. It doesn't have to be anything long. It's just enough to get Miller off of that straight line.
Yep. All right, so we'll kind of let it play out. But do watch Brandon Brooks on this play, and I'm sure you're going to get into it. He just absolutely mauls.
Yep, great slip here. And let's also look at Kelsey. Kelsey gets the first block here, does a nice job. He almost overruns the play, but then gets a big left hand on him, locks him. Yeah. And now we get Brooks. Brooks just takes this little defensive back and just buries him. And that's exactly what you should do. A lot of times for offensive linemen, trying to block safeties in space sucks because you got a guy who's maybe half your weight, twice your speed. Not easy. Just an awesome job here by Brooks getting in front of him, getting his shoulder squared. Really nice job here by Kelsey getting that hand on Brandon Marshall.
Oh, that's beautiful.
It's simple. It's simple money right there.
Easy money. Easy money, baby.
That's right.
Too easy.
2 easy touchdowns both times, making Von Miller think.
Yep. That's what you want to do. All right. So the next thing we're going to get into we're going to get into Ajayi runs, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Okay, we'll get into Ajayi right now. I'm sure this is why you guys might have come to this film study today. So, Jay Ajayi. So this is the 6th offensive series of the Eagles in the first half. They only ran to Big V's side once prior to this. Now we're going to see 2 plays coming up back-to-back where they run to Big V's side, and he gets a great kickout block to start. And this run, if you remember watching our Jay Ajayi film study and how he just freaking the yards after contact and how he can just keep churning those legs forward. We see that on the first play here.
Yeah, we do. And that's a big thing with Jay Train's thing is, first off, I got to say, maybe I'm biased here, Adrian. Do you have a problem with Jay Ajayi wearing 36? The only reason I say that is I loved the last guy who wore 36, right? So I don't think he needs to be retired. But I just think when I see 36 on the field, I get a little more excited. Maybe I'm just biased here, but that's just me.
Well, I love me some Brian Westbrook. I'm definitely not one of those, like, he shouldn't be wearing 36 because Brian Westbrook wore it. But, dude, he looked great on Sunday. And I'll tell you what, he's going to be motivated for the rest of the year because of what Miami did. I'm loving this. Loving it. Yeah.
And you know what, to be fair, if he plays the way he played like this week, he can wear whatever jersey number he damn well wants.
Wear McCoy's number. You know, that's the one number they won't allow is McCoy's number.
See, I would be more okay with him wearing Shady's number than Brian Westbrook, but that's just me personally. And I know LaShawn McCoy was a better player overall, but I think Westbrook just meant more to the team. Maybe I'm just being biased here, and I'll admit that.
Well, I don't know if it's bias per se. You're a Ravens fan.
Well, that's true too.
All right, so let's get into it here. So do you need to talk anything pre-snap? You want me to just kind of roll this?
No, this is going to be a good play just to kind of roll. We're going to see here that, Big V is going to do a really nice job. Do a really nice job of making sure he gains leverage right off the bat here on Shane Ray to make sure Shane Ray can't rip across his face. The other guy that I really want to talk about on both of these plays is Wiz. Wiz does an awesome job. I mean, he has been fantastic. Does a nice job here. Wiz does a nice job helping down, going up and getting the second level and getting the backer. And as we can see here, Big V is handling Shea Ray on his own. Yep. And now, you know what? Wiz realizes, shit, I got off the block a little too early. So what's Wiz do? Come here, little buddy. A couple more yards. I'm going to give you a little more push. And that goes from a gain there. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4. Keep moving, Mr. Referee. Keep giving us 3 yards. Gains another 5 yards. Wiz realized, you know what? I came to block early, but I'm going to keep fighting and keep helping you. I love that play by Wiz here.
Wiz wit, baby.
Look at it again here. First, we'll take a peek here. Big V does a great job at making sure he gets the angle so Shane Ray can't get across his face. Wiz does let the block off early, but then he comes back and helps the little man out and get a couple more yards.
There we go. And then we get into it right here. So this play, just well executed. You get Kelsey. So this is the outside zone, the signature outside zone play that they like to run. You get Big V again on the kick out, Kelsey with the pull and the seal. And again, Brandon Brooks is just freaking road grading people.
Honestly, this play is just simply dominant by everybody who's blocking.
Yeah,
I mean,
this wasn't J.J. This was the O-line.
I mean, this is everyone just doing their job, and it's the next play too.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the most refreshing thing to see someone stick with the run, back-to-back plays, under 2-minute drill. Normally something you wouldn't expect from the 45-yard line going in. But when you're dominating the first play, it's like, all right, let's see what happens again, and it was well rewarded.
Yep. You want to go slow? You want to go fast?
You can go fast here because, like I said, guys, I mean, there's not a ton really to talk about here. Everyone's just going to whip some ass. Okay. Every person. Okay. I mean, the pull block there, you'll see this better on the end zone view. Does a really nice job. We call it the chicken wing, just getting one hand in and being able to spin the safety around to stop him from being able to get an angle. You'll see it here. And it's all Kelsey right there. Whoop, right there. Just enough to get that Stewart there, to get him, spin off base and not be able to come across his face there. And J.J., we talked about it in our J.J. film, he's got enough speed and enough juice to make something happen in space if you give him the room.
And, the thing there with Kelsey pulling, I'll ask you, how hard is it to do that on a consistent basis the way he does, the way he moves, and the way he can seal effectively like that?
It's very difficult because, especially for the center position, pre-snap, you got to make the checks. You got to talk about the blocking scheme. Then you got to snap the ball. Okay, that sounds very common sense, but that's obviously very, very important. So he's got to snap the ball. Then he's got to move in space and make sure that he didn't allow any back seepage, anyone cutting across his face. That's very difficult for centers to do. Now, fortunately, Kelsey, as we talked about it, he's not very good against 3-4 teams who are going to put a nose tackle right in front of him. He's very, very good if he is unblocked over his head and can pull and move laterally. That's where he excels.
Yep. All right, next play here. We have a sack. But actually, I thought this was a play where Big V did a really good job. So we'll get into this here, but it was a sack. So, yeah, I'll kind of let you get into this.
Yep.
You want a pre-snap talk or you just go?
No, let's just go, and we'll probably do more conversation pre-snap. We can see here Denver's bringing the house here. They are just being very, very aggressive. Now, what you're going to see on the back end here is that's Von Miller who's looping around. So obviously that's going to cause a little more concern for everyone on the offensive line. But as you notice here on the left, Big V is doing his job, man. I mean, he's doing his job absolutely kicking Shane Ray. I think that is outside. But when we look at the end zone view, it's a small thing, guys. But because Big V comes off his block a smidget early, that allows him to get rolled up on. So, again, we'll see it here, Von Miller. All right, and Adrian, do me a favor. When Von Miller gets past the center, pause it. So it's just a quick stunt. So Von Miller goes away. So now Big V is one-on-one with Ray. Now, this is a perfect second. Look at Brooks, how he turns his shoulders. This is a problem here because this allows Brandon Marshall to say, wait a second here. All of a sudden, I have an open gap. I'm running right through this. This is an instant opportunity for him to have a clear run through. So Brandon Brooks, you got to understand where your help is because believe it or not, underneath Von Miller, that's where the running back is. So you have help in the middle. So if you want to chip them, you can, but you can't turn your shoulders, you can't turn your hips because that allows this open window here. And that's ultimately what's going to turn this play into a sack because you're going to see Brandon Marshall's going to get a full head of steam. And then watch when Adrian plays this play, guys, watch Big V come off his block a smidget early. Because he comes off the block a smidge early, he's about 1 yard to 2 yards deeper than he should have been if he continued his block, which is what allows him to get rolled up on. It's obviously not the end of the world because he's healthy, but these are the small things for offensive linemen you can't do. I mean, he comes off his block here, and now he's getting rolled up on. Big men, we can't have big men getting rolled up on. We know this. The tackle position is very thin after Big V, so we can't have any injuries moving forward.
I remember watching that live, and I saw the way he fell down. I'm like, oh no, but he got back up. But like whenever you see that stuff, it's you immediately think ACL or knee injury.
Absolutely. And that's why on offensive linemen, I can't stress it enough, the importance of staying on your block until the play is completely dead. It's not necessarily about being a dirty play and looking to finish the play every single time. I'm always thinking about I'm trying to drive that defensive lineman away as far as possible because whatever's going on behind me, it could be dangerous to me for a roll-up. So Big V's, you got to stay on your block, big man. It's a good job. It's a very, very good block. But just for your health concerns, stay on your block as long as possible.
You got to watch out, though, because LeGarrette Blount got called for, unnecessary roughness when he kept his block and pancaked the guy one time.
Yeah, I'll deal with that. Okay, if someone's going to bring me that flag, I'm going to say, okay, fine. I'll take that flag all day.
As long as Pete Morelli isn't calling the game. That's
soft-ass flag right there.
All right. So the Eagles put up 51 points on Sunday, but you know what? We're going to nitpick because they should have put up more.
Well, I mean, here's the thing. Everyone's always got room for improvement. I mean, Brady always has room for improvement. Rodgers has room for improvement. Breeze has room for improvement. And all three of those guys are first ballot Hall of Famers. Carson's got room for improvement too. So Let's take a peek here at this play. So we're going to see a very similar look that we just looked at. Denver's going to send the house. Denver knows, hey, you have 10 seconds. You got to get a big play off here. And we know that you don't have the greatest offensive line right now, health concerns. So we're going to send the house and make you throw the ball quick. Makes total sense here for what Denver's going to do.
Yeah, and before I kind of roll the play and kind of what you were talking about, I get all these people that tell me sometimes, the Eagles are 8-1. Why do you complain? Why do you say some things sometimes? When you're 8-1, it's easy to overlook your flaws because you're like, well, you're 8-1, but, our shit don't stink. I think it's, when you have a flaw, that's work on it. I don't know. Maybe I didn't word that right, but I think you get what I'm saying.
Sure. I mean, if you want to have a continued winning record, you always got to improve. You can't just stay the same every single time.
Think of Bill Belichick's press conferences. They could win by 14 points, and he's out there. He's complaining.
Same thing with Saban.
Yeah.
I mean, Saban's miserable for a reason because he never celebrates anything, but that's why us as fans can celebrate his wins for him.
Yeah. And that's why they're the best in the business.
Yep. So. But take a peek here, guys. What we're going to see here on this play is the first read is going to be Alshon Jeffrey on the bottom of the screen trying to run probably like a 10 to 15-yard out. 10 seconds left on the play. Makes a ton of sense. Okay, he's not there. So Nelson's going to run the under route, or we would call it a dig route here. Nelson runs it, and he gets open. But, Adrian, go back and replay this from the other angle. I think it's actually
I don't know if that went slow-mo or not. Did that go slow?
I think it went full, but that's okay. We can watch it full. It's not the end of the world.
Yeah.
But the reason I want to look at this clip specifically, guys, here, is Carson doesn't set his feet after he comes off his first read. He instead just tries to throw the ball sidearms here. You'll see here that his feet are going to be angled towards Alshon for his first read. Makes total sense. You got a guy like Alshon Jeffrey? Yeah, he should be your first read. I completely understand that. But when you come off it, you have to reset your feet. This is a big no-no what to do. So as we see here, Carson's first look is to Alshon. Okay, Alshon's not there. Right now, he needs to reset his feet. There's plenty of room in the pocket there. Instead, you're going to see this guy's from the end zone view. He doesn't reset his feet. Instead, he tries to make the throw like his body's looking flat at him. And if you try to throw a football, guys, 10 times for a receiver breaking from your right to your left with your flat-chested, one of two things is going to happen. One, you're going to have to turn and throw across your body, or two, you're going to sidearm it here. Both of those things are going to allow you to not be as accurate of a passer. Now, the good news, it's incompletion. It's not an interception, nothing that was concerning. But, look, we always get room for improvement. That's why we do these film studies. We don't do film studies to say how miraculous and everything perfect is. We always talk about room for improvement.
Yeah. And check out Clement, little block here. So if you're wondering if Wendell Smallwood will be back in the lineup, he won't.
Yep. Right here, Carson needs to reset his feet. Instead, as you can see here, he's trying to throw the ball with his flat chest, and the ball is going to be off-center. Now,
and we've seen at times earlier this season where, he will step up in the pocket and he will make that completion, but for whatever reason here, he didn't set his feet.
I mean, it's one mistake. It's not the end of the world.
No,
right?
no, and I'm sure people are going to comment and say, well, what the fuck are you guys doing? Blah, blah, blah. But, hey, room for improvement.
Always.
Always. And I'm sure you guys have seen this clip by now a bunch of times there on Twitter. It kind of blew up on Twitter, but we're going to show it here. The coach's film, the All-22 of Von Miller getting thrown aside with one hand by Lane Johnson.
Yeah, Von Miller thought he could come into the club, and the bouncer here, Lane Johnson, said, "No, I'll show you right out." Just back slap right to the back of the head, man. I mean, you'll see this club move really common in one of three situations. Draw, you'll see it really common in quick game, or you'll see it really common in screen. And this is a quick game scenario. When you have a pass rusher like Von Miller, who you know is explosive off the edge, you're going to sometimes get the opportunity to give him a nice club to the back of the head. So welcome to the club, Von Miller. Lane Johnson took you out back.
Oh, this is just so awesome. That's not the play. It's gone. But he just sent him sprawling, spinning like a top. It was great.
It's up there with the Colecchio Semele try to run after the picking up the fumble of just bad scenarios.
All right, so those are our plays for this film study. I don't know what we'll do for the bye week. Maybe we'll figure something out. But I mean, again, a great performance by the offense. What can you say?
No doubt. I mean, offensive line looked really good. Play calling did them a ton of favors there too. They got onto Von Miller early. They started calling plays at him early and continued throughout the game, which certainly helped. I mean, Carson played exceptionally well. Love to see the way that, J-Train's going to start to gain more and more ground in the offense. Things are looking fantastic right now going into the bye week.
Yep, and encouraging start for Big V, but let's also remember the competition is going to get a lot better. Shane Ray did have 8 sacks last year, but he's just coming back from a wrist injury, I believe, and that was his second game back, so it could be a little rust there. But Big V did his thing against him. But we're going to have DeMarcus Lawrence coming in. You're going to have JPP. You're going to have Khalil Mack. I mean, that's a point you've made to me a lot. So that's when we're really going to find out how good Big V really is. Like, okay, it's great. He did okay against San Francisco. He did well against Denver. But the competition's going to get better. That's when he needs to step up.
Without a question. And, you got 3 games away in a row at Seattle, at Los Angeles Rams, at the New York Giants. Obviously, the Giants look like the easiest win of that group. Yep. But it's still a good defense. Not exactly a good offense right now with all the injuries they've had. But going to Los Angeles, that's not exactly an easy one as we all thought it was going to be starting the season. Seattle's still a very good team. I think the biggest win of the weekend for the Philadelphia Eagles is actually the Redskins beating Seattle. That allows the Eagles to get one more spot, a little more confident that they can win out and go to that number 1 seed in the NFC.
There it is. All right, there actually is something I wanted to play before we left out because I don't know if I'm going to find it, though, because all right, here we go. So something that you sent me yesterday, and this is hilarious. All right. I think you know what I'm talking about.
Yep.
A little Broncos fan getting ahead of himself.
Yep. And I love this because a player I coach, Cole Grzganowski, who's playing at the University of Puget Sound right now, sent me this, and I was like, oh, dude, this is perfect.
So here we go.
Look at this dude. Let me tell you something. Carson Wentz ain't never in his life played a defense like this. Wait till you see the.
No.
Number 1 quarterback in the league. Number 2 quarterback in the league. Number 1 pass rusher in the league. He said, boy, long night. He tried it.
This guy's hilarious.
I promise you,
there it is.
Coming out this game. Eagles on the 7-2. Or donkey.
There we go. Having a little fun before we depart.
Enjoy your week, guys. Enjoy the bye week.
We're out.